How was that? Hmm. What was beautiful about it? You felt peace. Question, when you felt inside, where did your attention went into?
My stomach area.
Hmm.
Felt tightness.
Okay. Felt what?
Like tightness in my stomach.
Tightness. Okay. What happened when you directed the energy of compassion?
Like I do saying, took a little bit.
Yeah.
Like kind of resistant.
Yeah. It's never immediately. It's always a. But do you notice how interesting enough when we go into that area of our body where we're subtly unease, let's say that, to put a general term, and you're able to stay with it, you make peace with that inner sensation, the mind starts calming down immediately. Welcome. Because what agitates the mind is our emotions. You know, the subconscious mind, really. What's behind our conscious mind and why our conscious mind is going somewhere or thinking about something. Because underneath it, what's playing is the subconscious mind. That mind which we're not really so aware of. Like right now, when you close your eyes, weren't you surprised about what you were feeling? Maybe like, oh, look at that. I don't know, I was sensing this. But it just takes a little bit of feeling. Are you guys getting the hang of it, or somebody's like, what the fuck is he talking about? Yeah, just wondering. Making sense? And suddenly it feels like the heart beats stronger. Yeah, it's very typical. My theory often is that my heart beats stronger when it is releasing emotional tension. It feels like, actually, in my case, it feels as releasing fear. Yeah, very palpable, very palpable. But then it feels like it's like releasing tension, and then it kind of relaxes. Because that's what the body starts doing when you bring awareness to the body. It's like you empower the body to heal itself. When you bring awareness to the body does something on its own. It knows how to move back into balance. But for it to move back into balance, it has to bring up whatever is being there that you haven't recognized. So sometimes it's a bit of a painful process because it's making peace with our, as I was speaking last class, our unresolvedness, our anxieties, or the part of us that wants to control life, but it can't. So it's frustrated, right? And today I bring the quality of compassion because I'm going to share now an experience I had with my spiritual teacher, my meditation teacher. Once a week, my meditation teacher is in India, and a lot of people come to him just to be in their presence and sit silently with him. And whenever I would come, this teacher wouldn't give any talk or anything. He would just be sitting meditating. And I would sit on his side, maybe like him, and I was over there. And it was always, I think it was Wednesdays, like at noon. And whenever I went there was some stuff going on in my job or something that I was worried about, some emotional stuff, or something that I felt guilty, or something that I felt bad, but whenever I went and just sat on his side, I would just feel this waves of unconditional love showering me. It was like I was, I couldn't explain it, but in his presence, I felt unconditionally loved. But it wasn't like he was doing anything, it was just this energy of love showering into me. Always, every time. That's why I was always be there. And my mind was always in the drama, but as this love showered me, it's like my mind was able to let go. My mind was able to let go of its grievances. And as this love nurtured me, I was able to let go of sometimes like we're just stuck in pettiness. Sometimes we're just stuck in fear. And love dissolves that. And then suddenly when I came out, nothing in my life had changed, yet I was happy and at peace. The same situation was going outside, but I had reached a level of inner fullness where I didn't really care about what was so important when I came in. And the other thing I discovered was no matter how bad I felt about myself or something, I felt guilty, love was there, always, embracing me just as I was. And that would let me embrace myself, forgive myself, understand that, hey, I'm here to learn. I don't have everything figured out. And that's when I learned to meditate, really. I understood that meditation happens with self-love, compassion, compassion to yourself, being your best friend, not criticizing yourself, uh, not judging yourself when you sit to meditate, not trying to be in another place where you're at, but embracing where you're at. Embracing, as I said in the earlier class, your fucked up self. you know? And
how did you know, I'm sorry, that it was unconditional love?
What?
How did you know that it was, like, how did you label it as a...
Because no, good question. The unconditionality of it was that it was always there. I would experience it. No matter what was going on inside me, it was there for me.
Was it something familiar to you? Or was
Yeah, love is, of course, love is familiar. It was like, it's like your mother, right? I mean, real love is unmistakable. It's just this softness and warmth and being embraced unconditionally. And for me, that is God. And through my years of practice, that's what I do each time I sit to meditate. I just embrace myself wherever I am with my life. I just sit down, and this is what many people don't know, but directing your awareness to yourself is the greatest act of self-love. Awareness itself is healing. That's why kids, they're trying to get your attention. And when you pay attention, when you really pay attention to your children, it's an act of love. What they really want is to be really heard, really listened, really appreciated. Now, can you do that with yourself? Now, often we're not able to do that because we don't forgive ourselves. We don't forgive our mistakes, right? Often. We don't forgive our shortcomings. We've learned we've got to be tough on ourselves. Our society is not very forgiving. And then because you can't forgive yourself, you can be there fully for yourself. And it's ridiculous why we can't forgive ourselves. It's like we have this idea that we came into this world knowing how to be, and we didn't. Nobody comes in this world knowing exactly what to do and how to be. We learn as we go along. And we learn from whom? From our parents. And they don't have it together often. They're trying to figure it out themselves, you know? And they pass on to us what they could pass on to us. And but in many of it, you know, it's like I say, we receive these maps on how to deal with reality. But reality always goes further than our maps on how to deal with it. Once you think you're handling something, life changes, tweaks it a little bit, and you're lost, right? And then you are trying to get your bearings together again when life changes, and you're like, oh, now what do I do? So we are bound to make terrible mistakes, also because we're not at peace all the time. Most of the time, we are in fear, aren't we not? And when you're in fear and worried, often your best self doesn't come up, right? It's like sometimes we're tired, sometimes we are fearful, frustrated. What I mean is often we are depleted of love. And then, but we still have to act, and we still have to work, and we still have to take care of our children, our family. We still have to be there for the world, but often we're empty inside. We don't have, what am I going to give if I'm in pain, right? So that's when we shout at the other person when we didn't want to shout, or we tell something terrible to someone when we didn't really want to do that. But why we do that is because this inner poverty. So we need to make a practice of love so that quench our heart with love, but the love that I'm speaking is not, it's not something that somebody will give you. It's this love is what you are. It's a quality of your own awareness. And it's just turning your gaze inside, and as we did just now, feel and feel with compassion. Love, I say loving, compassionate awareness. When you are compassionate with yourself, then you start feeling this soft inner melting, right? This soft releasing. And then you actually get infused by your own inner love. And then you go out into the world and you can be there for the world. You can be there for others. But if you're empty inside, then it's very hard. So that's why meditation is a daily practice of making peace with your pain or an anxiety or whatever's going on, or agitation, by practicing self-love, feeling, breathing, and recognizing your agitation. And as you are with it, it starts very subtly easing with your presence, not with trying to figure out with your mind, right? Not the fixing mind. It's like when your little kid comes and his toy is broken, and you tell your little kid, oh, don't worry, I'll get you a new one. You're missing the point. Is that his toy is broken, and he wanted that toy and he loved that toy, and he's just wanting you to be there in his grieving. And if you're there with him and you really listen and you let him speak about his pain, he most likely won't want the same toy again. He just wants to be heard. Like often husbands don't really understand with their wives that. You know, like a wife comes with all and they just want to be contained. They don't want you to fix their problem. Nobody really wants anybody to fix your problem because only you know the answer for your problem. But what we normally do seek is somebody to contain us. And meditation is the practice of you containing yourself, you being there for yourself, you feeling inside and staying there with your presence, whatever comes up, painful or peaceful. I'm not saying it's always pain, but most likely there's often, as you sit to meditate, there's some form of agitation, right? That's why it's not easy to sit to meditate. Why do you think it's not easy to sit to meditate? Because there's some stuff going on. And some stuff that's going on that you don't want to see it, because if you see it, it shows your unresolvedness in some area of your life, right? Oh, so self-forgiveness and compassion. And you can do that, practice it with yourself, and you can also, in meditation, practice it with others. And that's very healing too. How are we doing with this? So when I speak about compassion, I always like to make the distinction. One thing is compassion, and another thing is pity.
Pity?
Pity. Pity is, you see somebody else's plight, right? Like, oh, look at that poor person. Oh, poor him. But when you see them, in your eyes, it's very subtle, but the way you see in this person is not respectful of their inner strength. You see them as poor thing. So when you see them, you're not empowering them, you're actually disempowering them. It's like when a good friend of yours comes on, oh, poor you, oh, that's so hard for you, you cannot deal with it, and you feel like, what the fuck you're saying? You feel unrespected. They're being very pitiful, and it hurts if somebody has ever done that to you. So compassion is not pity. Compassion is that you feel the pain of other as you fully believe in the other, that he can deal with it. That's real compassion. And compassion is wanting to be with the other as equal and see, hey, how can I help here? How can I be here for you? But because I honor you and I respect you. And if I were in your situation, I would want somebody to be there for me. And that's compassion. In compassion, somebody said, being with the passion of another, compassion. In Spanish, compasión is being with the passion of others. So when you sit to meditate and you feel your pain, can you be compassionate? Can you understand your own plight, the challenge of being you? Can you be that for you? Respecting that within you, there's the power to overcome this. But when you're meditating, it's just a moment to grieve often. The grieving process happens. And then after that grieving process naturally happens, where you hold yourself, then peace and stillness can arise and happiness arises. Because happiness is just our own. When I mean happiness, is not this happiness of winning the lottery, but it's just the happiness of well-being, of feeling good with yourself in life, feeling at peace. That's what we're cultivating. One of the words they give in yoga tradition is santosha, contentment. That you're content. That you're content with your circumstances. Yeah? Any question on what we have been speaking? So another thing, one of the reasons why it's hard for us to find compassion is lack of forgiveness. But the other one is, and this is very strong in our society, and is that we feel we're not good enough. We feel we have this thing in our society where we always have to be better. Okay? This culture of self-improvement, where we are crazily going to gyms, where we are crazily getting degrees, where we are crazily trying to find a better job, where we're going on this ladder to somewhere, and everybody's especially with the young people, but also nowadays I think everybody is lost in this kind of hamster wheel of getting to somewhere very high. And if you're not getting there, you're beating yourself because you're not good enough. This kind of lack of your fundamental self-worth, meaning there's a big problem of lack of self-worth in our society. We feel we need to look better, have a greater body, have more money, get more degrees to be someone. Do you relate to that? So let me finish this idea. So we take that into our meditation practice, and then our meditation practice is never good enough. You see, it's like this inner insatisfaction. So you're doing the practice, but you're judging yourself. Look, you're thinking, okay, when did you get to? And it's like you are someplace, but you don't want to be there. You want to be in another place. When am I going to be able to meditate for hours and get peace? When am I going to, it's like, and that's our very Western conditioned mind, that we think that happiness is once we become this super idea of our being. Super mom, and if you're only a mom, then you feel bad because you're only a mom, you want to be an executive. But if you're only an executive but you're not a mom, then you're shitty too. It's like we're never good enough, And your job, no matter how good you're in your job, it's not good enough because you're always comparing. So this is a disease of our society where what's going on is there's nothing wrong in wanting to be better. The wrong thing is that the energy behind it is a lack of self-worth, a lack of recognizing that you already are beautiful, you already are the servant of love, that you don't have to be anything else for the world to love you. And I'm going to give some examples to see if you can, because it's not so easy to see what I'm talking about. Imagine that you go into the woods, and speaking about the sequoia woods, where these big, awesome trees grow, okay? And you're looking at these awesome trees, and you're like, oh my God, they're so huge, they're so big, they're so wide, they're so old. Yet, when these trees grow, they have they're pine trees. So when there's a pine woods, they throw a resin into the ground where it doesn't allow anything else but a pine to grow. Okay? So, but somewhere over there, there's a clearance and there's no trees. And in the floor, a little back over there, you see a splash of color, a red color. And you're like, what? That's weird. Normally in these woods, everything is green. So you go over there and you see this very spiky plant with one leaf here and one other leaf over here. Not very appealing, that plant. But then suddenly you come across a curve and you get to see another part of the plant you couldn't see, and then you see the red flower that it has. And as you see the red flower that it has, you're like, oh my God, it's amazing. And it stirs something in your heart where you're in awe and beauty. So what is more valuable, the plant with its flower or the amazing, majestic tree? What is more valuable? Why?
Well, they're different. They're both unique in their own way.
They're both unique in their own way. But why are they valuable?
Well, isn't that the person who finds the value in it?
Nothing is valuable unless you give it value. But here we are in our society, expecting others to give us value. And that's why we're in a frantic race of getting titles and things and money. Often people just searching for being seen, seeking value by others seeing us, the seeking of approval, putting, when you're dating someone, putting your best face and, throwing your credit card, wanting to show who you are, because in a way you want to be seen and being valued because you think that your value is what others see in you. So fucked up, because your value can be only given by you. And the problem is that if you don't see yourself and see an opportunity there, I mean, the flower has no value unless somebody says, oh my God, it's beautiful, I want to see that flower again. Then there's a value for someone. Now, do you see value in you? Do you see opportunity in yourself? When you look at yourself in the mirror, do you see something awesome? Or what you see is not good? And we come from a society that has these standards of what's good and what's not good. And they're all fake. They're not real. But we live our life with those standards, money, appearance, in terms of them giving us value as a person. They don't. Yet we believe that. Then we don't see value in ourselves. You can see value in your little son, even when he doesn't see somehow value in himself. A mom can always see value in their son because she is loving them just as they are, and she sees opportunity and possibility in them. So, can you see value in yourself? It's actually a practice of seeing possibility in you. You see, you got to think it. You gotta realize that you are the most important person in your life. You are the foundation of your life. Without you, there's no your life. So you are the most important human being in your life. But are you taking care of that relationship? Are you appreciating yourself? What I'm talking about. Are you appreciating your uniqueness? We can see the uniqueness of that little flower. We all are this little flower because in some way we suck in certain areas and we're good at other areas, aren't we not? None of us are good in all the areas. And for sure, we're not good in all our society standards. But there's something where you are unique, or many things where you are unique. And we see that in movies all the time, but we fail to really appreciate our uniqueness. And that has been my own process in my life to, I've been always a very introverted child. Nowadays, not so much, but when I was young, I was way more. And why was I so introvert? Because I was very sensitive. And I had two older brothers that were bullying me all the time. So it didn't help for my security. I was very insecure. So I tend to have a lot of time by myself. But what happened with that? I developed this very rich inner world. And that connection with my inner world. And it's a power. It's a very powerful creative place, that introverts have. But I could see myself, and for many years I chose to see myself as less than, because I wasn't able that what sometimes is your weakness is also your power. So there's this important thing of trying to see yourself with different eyes. Instead of trying to fit into a society categories of success, You gotta find your own uniqueness. You're that little flower, and that little flower has something important. And you just gotta trust in that, trust that life chose to become you. So what I'm saying is when you sit to meditate, it's not only an act of compassion. Sit with an attitude of appreciative love, appreciating your uniqueness, self-love. And then your meditation blossoms. Because you know what happens with love? Fear dissolves. And when fear dissolves, the mind becomes quiet. So that's my kind of my formula for meditation. You gotta love yourself. You gotta forgive yourself. You gotta be compassionate with yourself. And in that love, in that awareness, in that embracing attitude, in that honoring that life chose to become you, then you're your best friend, and then your mind can calm down from its fear, from its sense of lack, which is created in the mind, really. Because none of us are lacking. Everybody's lacking of something, but everybody's abundant on something. So you gotta see the abundance, you gotta appreciate, you gotta be there to embrace what you are. And even if you don't know what you're good at, or there's nothing that you really appreciate on you, know that it's there. Have faith in yourself. It will flourish as you start honoring yourself. It will come out as you start believing in yourself. It's like when I go and visit my family and my brothers are there and I know they're going to bully me. It's tough. Like I just went there a couple of weeks ago to LA and they got together and they bullied me. And my little child got hurt again, you know? And I was like, oh, here's the pain. This time I was able to speak with my sister and say, you know what? You know, I feel like shit when I'm with you guys. I really don't want to be with you guys because you get into this thing of, I'm the spiritual, the hippie, and they start bullying me in different ways. Yeah. But it just triggers all my pains of childhood. And I say, I take responsibility of my pain. I'm not blaming you. But why? Why this game? And we enter into a really deep conversation about how my brother, since he was very young, he felt that my mom didn't pay attention to him and all the attention was turned to me. But it was really honest. And what I'm bringing here is I felt that pain, and thank God I started to meditate, and I was able to ease that pain and become operative again, not being all, you know, when you're in pain, you just can't flow with people. You just can't be yourself. So the good thing of my meditation practice is that I'm able to embrace that little Tomas that sometimes comes out full of pain. Say, hey, I'm here and I love you. Even if they're not able to appreciate you, I appreciate you. And of course, it's not that they don't appreciate me. That's the little kid perception that arises. They're just having fun, you know? It's my little kid that felt that they were not appreciating me, that felt that I was less than. And that's the little kid that each time I meditate, I embrace, I hold. And he calms down and you know, oh, okay, I can play. I can be happy again. I don't know if that relates to you guys, but that's very much my story of, you know, like another thing, and I don't mind saying publicly nowadays, thank God, because the culture has changed a lot, but I'm gay. And that was a big thing growing in Latin American culture. And it has taken me years to learn to embrace that weirdness of myself because not everybody's like that. And you don't grow, but that's who I am. What am I going to do? That's my feelings. So my whole path, and that's, I think, the way I teach meditation is very tinged with this idea of self-love. And I realized that's what calms the mind. And then with that unconditional love, you can go deep in meditation. How are we doing with this? Yeah. So embrace your weirdness, embrace your uniqueness, forgive your mistake. You're here to learn. And when you sit to meditate, you're not trying to achieve anything. What you're really trying to achieve is self-love, unconditional self-love. That's what you really want to. And when you're able to really achieve that, then you're going to be loving with others. Because if you can love yourself, then you can really love others. If you can love yourself in your ups and your downs, in your brightness and in your darkness, then you can do that with others. If you allow yourself to be yourself as you are and you respect yourself as you are, then you can be that for others. You're not so judgmental. Oh, you got to be like this. This is the right, this is the wrong. Now, this thing of right and wrong, what's right here often is wrong in another culture. It's very relative, right and wrong. Of course, there are some fundamental rights. Don't do unto others what you don't want to be done unto yourself. But in terms of beliefs, oh my God, there are 1,000 beliefs that have been proven wrong in history. And we get so hold on to our beliefs that we cannot really honor who we are, because we're holding on to this fossilized beliefs from the past that really don't allow us to be ourselves and love ourselves as we are. So here I'm inviting a questioning of our society standards and beliefs. Not saying that they're all wrong, saying that they're not universal often, they're contextual to a certain time, to a certain period, to a certain intention, to certain values. Values changes. What we value 300 years ago, not necessarily what we value today. You can see it in the way houses were constructed. In the past, they were very dark and dim and a lot of walls, and now we want windows all over. Because why? Our values have changed. Over that time, they wanted security. Now we want freedom or self-expression. You see? So beliefs and values changes. So you gotta learn to question. You gotta learn to question society in post of honoring your uniqueness, your truth. Yeah.
You said that when there's love, fear melts away.
When there's love.
When there's love, the fear melts away.
Yes, it does.
So you can't have one and the other.
You can.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you have fear, it's almost impossible to love, right? If you feel fear.
Have you noticed that when you get in fear, it's kind of hard to love? You're just fears, and let's not make fear the bad guy. Fear has a purpose, and the purpose is self-protection. Some level of fear is important and good, but a lot of fear and constant fear is what is the problem. Okay? Some level of fear is some level of self-awareness of protecting yourself. But sometimes when fear has become imaginary, like you're seeing monsters all over, then you have a problem.
But then you also said it, and then there's unconditional love. So if it's unconditional love, then there really is, like, I don't mean to the world, I mean to the people close to you. Because, right, there is some value in having some fear a little bit to the outside world because of security issues. But with the people that you love, there shouldn't be a need for that, right? There should be more like, if you have like unconditional love, then there's absolutely no fear.
Yes, and yet unconditional love is a really, really, really high state.
Yeah.
That in India, the saints, maybe some very special human beings are able to, like Gandhi, and when he gets fired by a guy, he doesn't get in fear. He right away stays in, is able to hold love in a place where most people would get into a place of, you wanted to kill the monster, all our projections, that we put onto people. Yet, and this is also important to distinguish, unconditional love does not mean that you will accept people to use you as a doormat. So it's a distinction. It's like, hey, I love you, but you're not going to do this to me. This interaction here right now, it's not respectful. Okay? Doesn't mean that I love you less, but I'm not gonna take this shit of you. So because some people confuse unconditional love with being a doormat. Oh, I love you, so just do that and do whatever you want to me. No, that's not love because you're not loving yourself. So, okay. Did I answer your question?
No, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, I just find a really difficult time with that whole, I mean, way back when we started talking, this whole time thinking about, well, therein lies a lot of the issue of unconditional love. Because I don't know about anything else here, but I've never had that in my life.
Yeah.
So, and it's exactly what you said, so
Yeah.
what I've had to do, it has to be with accepting the fact that our
Yeah.
parents did the best they could with
Yeah.
what they had at the time.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I have a great example or was given a great example of
Yeah.
boundaries or what unconditional love is,
Yeah.
or how to have healthy closure.
Yeah.
I've had to learn all that, or at least attempt to learn all that.
Yeah. Me
as
too.
on my journey.
Yeah.
And so when we get into the idea of unconditionally loving ourselves or anybody, I mean, to me, I don't know where you put fear and trust issues. But for me, a lot of it is lack of trust. Because you can say, well, yes, because you fear X will occur, why? But for me, a lot of it is not trust. And the thing is that every day in this world, we have examples about what happens to people.
Yeah.
So some of that lack of trust is not just made up.
Oh, no,
And
no.
out of the blue,
Yeah.
there are real, every day, if you just have any clue of what's going on in the world, you can have lack of trust to some degrees.
Now, let me explain this. In the same way, the example of the doormat, I can feel love for you, yet at the same, I can practice feeling love for you and yet say, but I'm not going to give you money. I don't trust you with money because last time I gave you money, you never paid me back. So you can, I mean, trust is something that you give. And love and trust can be there at the same time, or lack of trust. Like, I don't trust you here. And I love you, but I'm not going to do this business with you, or, because I can see where you're at and your actions have shown me that. Now, I take that your question goes as, how am I going to know what unconditional love is if I haven't ever experienced?
Actually, that was the point I was going to
get. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, good question. It's true that the way I speak from unconditional love is the way I experience it from my practice of meditation. And when I say unconditional love, what I mean is that I've reached a point in my practice of meditation where I don't judge myself anymore as harshly as I used to. And I've learned to embrace my learning self. And I think that didn't happen from the morning, it didn't happen in a few days. It has happened through my commitment to the practice. Because, those little moments of meditation where we feel our heartbeat, that's love. It's like each time you go a little bit beneath the mind and calm yourself down, that's love, that's self-love. And the more you do that, is that energy, that experience grows in you. But at the beginning, as anything in life, this work is a work of faith, Yet, especially with meditation, you can read so many testimonies of so many masters and their path of meditation and how it, little by little, it takes you to love and peace. Because that's, I don't know, most of you have done yoga, right? You're at the end of a yoga class and you go into Shavasana. And isn't that place of Shavasana amazing? And you feel so nurtured, just feeling yourself resting? That's love. Your body is love. It's a yummy, warm, fullness feeling. And we just need to allow ourselves to go there more. But for that, especially in the practice of meditation and yoga, because I also teach yoga, and the first thing I tell my students is, if you're not enjoying this, you're not doing yoga. If you're not doing this with love, if you're not enjoying the posture, you haven't discovered yoga yet. You know, you will always recognize a teacher when he goes to your class, because he won't do exactly what you say, but he will do it in a way that works for him, because they know their body, they care for it. And but then you will see a beginner because he's beating himself up in that yoga mat, and he's trying to do, being very hard with his body, trying to take her into places where his body's like, ah, and he thinks he's doing yoga. You know, where yoga is really a flourishing of your body because you're really opening it up. But that takes practice. So the same happens with meditation. Beginners meditation, they beat their shit up there in the city. Advanced meditation, love. So that's why I'm bringing this talk now. You gotta love yourself. Don't beat yourself up in meditation. Be patient. Be your best friend. Hold yourself. Yeah. And it's a practice. Some days you will be successful. Other days you're gonna beat up yourself. Other days you won't have patience with yourself. Other times you won't forgive yourself. And it's a process. Right? That answers your question? Okay. Okay. So let's practice a little more.